So maybe you've heard of the Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is a piece of cloth that has an image of a man. It has been regarded for centuries by the Catholic Church as the actual burial cloth used to wrap the body of Jesus after his crucifixion. Now, science has been trying to prove that Jesus' bodily image has been imprinted on this cloth. Now, this cloth is 14 feet by 5 inches long. It's rectangular shape, and it's 3 feet 7 inches wide. So the question is this the actual burial cloth of Jesus? And as always, we go to Scripture. So, in Matthew 27, verse 59 and 60, it says, when Joseph had taken the body, that's of Christ, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his new tomb. Mark 15:45 and 46 says, Joseph of Arimathea bought fine linen. He took Jesus down and wrapped him in that linen. He laid him in the tomb which had been cut out of rock. Now Luke 23:53 says, when Joseph took him down, he wrapped him in linen and laid him in a tomb that was carved out of rock, where no man had been laid before. So when you take a look at Matthew, Mark, and Luke, all three of these verses tell the exact same story. But not only that, these three verses use the same Greek word for linen. It's the word syndon, which translates cloth or linen cloth. Now, when you read John's gospel, it's different than the other three. It gives a much clearer description, and it uses a different Greek word for linen. It uses the Greek word of onion, which talks about, or which translates pieces of cloth. So in John 19:40, it says, then they took the body of Jesus and bound it in strips of linen. Now, when you come to John 20, and an overview, a summary of this chapter tells us that Mary Magdalene, Peter, and John all came to the tomb after the resurrection of Jesus. And John 20, verse 5 tells us John got there first. He stooped down and he looked inside the tomb, and he saw the linen cloth that were lying there, plural. In John 20, verse 6 and 7, it says Peter came next, and Peter stooped down and looked into the tomb, and there he saw the linen cloths lying there. And he also saw a handkerchief that had been around his head, not lined with the linen cloths, but folded together in a place by itself. So, according to Mary, John, and Peter and their testimony, there were several cloths and a separate one for his head, set aside and folded by itself. Now understand, according to ancient Jewish tradition, when a man visited someone's home and he had dinner there, when it was time for him to leave, if he left his handkerchief or napkin folded on the table, this meant something. This meant that he would return. Jesus had previously told his disciples in John 14:2 and 3, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Jesus had more than one cloth he was buried with, and the head cloth was significant to his return, folded in a separate place that signified he will return. Are you ready?